In this walkthrough, we'll cover the govern and operate workflow for taking your predictive model from the DataRobot leaderboard and putting it into production. Specifically, we're going to cover how to register the model, how to deploy the model to a prediction environment, how to make predictions in various ways with that newly deployed model, and then how to review the built-in monitoring metrics that are provided as standard with a DataRobot deployment. Before we begin, you're going to have to have completed an experiment with the model leaderboard ready to go. If you've just finished the model building walkthrough, you're all set. We're going to start on the leaderboard of a completed experiment. First thing we do is select the model that we want to register from the leaderboard. We look up at the top right hand side, click on model actions and register the model. Here we need to provide a name for the registered model and maybe a little description of this specific version of the model that we want to register. We then hit register model up in the top right hand side. DataRobot's now registering the model. You'll see in this screen, it shows all of the metadata pertaining to the training of this model. We also have links back to the different assets that were used during the development of the model, including the training data and the full experiment, as well as a record of the ownership of the model. You can access assets in the AI registry at any time by clicking on registry just up here along the top of the screen. The registry can also be used for your generative models, agentic workflows, tools for those agentic workflows and applications. You can also share these assets with varying levels of permissions with other team members as needed and required. Next, we're going to look at how we can configure a deployment of one of these assets. We click on deploy up here in the top right hand side. We select the prediction environment for where we want to deploy the model, be it in DataRobot or an external prediction environment. And then we can configure some of the settings that are related to monitoring, for example, enabling data drift and accuracy monitoring. Then we hit deploy model up in the right hand side and the deployment will be created. It might take a minute or so to create the deployment. Once your model has been deployed, it'll appear in the console, which is where we can keep track of all of the deployed AI assets across the organization. Here we have a high-level summary of some monitoring metrics like service health, data drift, and accuracy, and we have all of the deployments listed down here on the left-hand side. You can navigate to the console at any time by clicking console across the top of the screen. If we jump into one of these deployments, we can see that we have metadata captured for the specific deployment with links back to all of the assets that we used to deploy the model. We have a couple of ways that we can generate predictions from this deployed model. The first is for ad hoc predictions, where we can pull data in from the data registry, find our scoring data, confirm we want to use that inference data set, and hit compute and download predictions. We might also want to set up a prediction job that allows us to ingest source data from a source database, generate our predictions, and write those predictions out to a table on a scheduled or triggered basis. You might also want to use our prediction API either in batch or real-time mode to integrate this deployment with your scoring or inference pipeline that you have up and running externally. Once your deployment is generating predictions, you can dive into more detail on all of those monitoring metrics that we set up earlier. For example, on the service health tab that you navigate to by just clicking on monitoring and then service health, you can see how many predictions this deployment is generating, were there any errors in the inference data that was being sent to the deployment, how long is it on average taken to serve a prediction. You can also track data drift, which looks at whether there's any changes in the distribution of your inference data when compared to your initial training data for the model. We can do this for each of the individual features that the model is leveraging to generate predictions. That concludes our walkthrough. We've seen how you can register models in the AI asset registry, how you can configure and create a production deployment of that model, how you can generate predictions in a couple of different ways, and how you can review both the service health and data drift monitoring metrics for that deployment. Thanks for watching the walkthrough.